Hi everyone, welcome to On the Other Hand. I'm Ariane Zersher, and today I'm going to be demonstrating the half chevron stitch and the raised chevron stitch and the mirror chevron stitch. Don't forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button and the little bell that pops up for email notifications. I love hearing from you, so leave me comments in the comment section. And grab something to stitch with, a needle and some thread, and let's stitch together. I'm using a number 5 weight EZM 35 with an 18 chenille, and I'm doing a half chevron stitch. I find that it's best to keep these fairly small at the bottom. And the reason I say that is because otherwise they become quite elongated, the diagonal. So I take a little stitch directly down from where this thread is emerging in the middle of this stitch. Now, like a closed chevron, I'm coming right up to this stitch's end with my diagonal, and this is where I'm going to go directly up and make my little stitch here, going vertically down. As I said, I'm keeping these stitches fairly small on the bottom. Makes a little twist here. If I don't make these stitches small on the bottom, what happens is this diagonal thread right here becomes really exaggerated. And I don't personally like the way that looks. But if you want that, then all you need to do is make that stitch at the bottom longer. So I make my vertical stitch, and I want to make sure that this thread is underneath, and that's what's giving it that little twist. I'm going to end it right here so that I can use a different thread. You can see what that looks like. But there it is. That's the half chevron. I'm using a number 18 chenille and the Dalla thread that Sue Spargo, Sue's eldest daughter, hand dyes. It's really quite beautiful. So I'm going to come back down with my little stitch here, making sure that this thread goes underneath behind the needle to give me that little twist. And then I'm just going to continue along my way here. Keeping those bottom stitches fairly small. Of course, you can make them as long as you want. I prefer the way it looks when they're smaller. You can also make this twist as large or as small as you want as well. So if I want, I could just take a tiny little stitch at the top. Keep everything really, really small. just ending it there. So there it is in the number 5 variegated eleganza, and this is in the Dalla, keeping those stitches pretty small for the half chevron stitch. For the raised chevron, I drew 3 parallel chalk lines, and then I did V's inside. It's hard to see. Some of these, the chalk has come off. The reason I'm doing this is so that you can see more easily what I'm doing. I come up in the middle of one of my diamonds, and I'm going to work from left to right. I'm left-handed. If you're right-handed, you're going to work from right to left. And I'm going to take a stitch down to the bottom of my first diamond. I'm going to come out at the bottom of my second diamond. I'm then going to come up to the middle, and I'm going to come across to the middle of the diamond to the left. Now I'm going to go to the top of that diamond and come across to the top of the diamond to the right. I'm going to come back down, I'm going to go to middle, and I'm going to repeat this so that the V's are staggered bottom to top. I'll just do one more V and then I'll end. My thread is running out anyway. So what you're going to have is something that looks like that. By the way, when I'm ending a thread and I have no layering, I just do this. I give it a knot and then I just weave it in and I clip it. Okay, so now I'm going to come with a different color. I'm going to use my same Dalla. I'll do Flower Power. Again on my 18 chenille needle. With my other thread, I'm going to come out just beyond that V, just to the right of it. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go around that stitch, keeping my thread on the outside, then keeping my thread up here. I'm going to take my back of my needle or a tapestry needle, either one, and I'm going to go around this stitch. Now I'm going to go around this leg. I'm going to come around this leg, keeping my thread underneath. I'm going to come up, up, down, up, down, and that's my raised chevron stitch using the Dalla thread. I'm just going to end it, anchor it here. Okay, I'll show you in a different thread. I'll do this in a silk ribbon. So come up on the side of my diamond, go down to the bottom, come across to the next bottom, make my little peak, go to the side, come up to the top of the diamond. I'm just alternating. Doing my V's. I'm not going to do very many of these. Running out of room anyway. I'm going to end right there. I'm going to use this same color just so you can see what it looks like using the same color. I'm going to, let's see, I want to end this like this. I'm then going to come right up to the side here. I'm going to weave my thread in. I'm going to go to the other side, like this. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to keep my thread above and I go across. And I'm going to end here. There it is, using a silk ribbon in the same color. The raised chevron, the half chevron, and then just as a reminder, the chevron and the closed chevron. Mirror chevron stitch. I've drawn 3 parallel lines because I'm going to do my first chevron between these two, and then I'm going to do my mirror between these two. I come up. I then go down and come into the middle. I'm using gala thread and an 18 chenille because I had it on my needle. That's the truth. There was no thinking involved here. I'm then going to come down for my first stitch, keeping these fairly small. Come up. With a regular chevron, I keep my stitches away from each other. They do not abut each other the way a closed chevron does. Oops. I have to remember to always keep that thread above when it's above, below when it's the lower level. It's pretty in this dollar, isn't it? And I'm going to end it here because I'm running out of thread. But when I come back with my new thread, I'm going to come up in the middle. And that's how it looks. So when I bring up my new thread, I come right into the middle and I continue. Keeping my thread looped above the needle. that when I come down, keeps the thread below the needle. And then I can just end it here. Okay. Now to do the mirror, I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to come up here on the edge of my stitch because I'm doing an exact mirror of it, going from right to left. If you're right-handed, you'll go from left to right. And I'm going to mirror this stitch exactly. So where I came down here, that's where I'm going to go down. And I'm going to come up right in the middle. I'm going to take my little stitch here, coming vertically up the same distance away, so that's an exact mirror of the stitch below. And the trick here is really just to keep those stitches exactly where I had them the first round. So vertically up from where that was, take my little stitch, go down and echo this one. Vertically up, go down, echoing this one. Come up, go down. Oops. Remember that stitch always has to lay below. It's the bottom. The upper one has to loop above. So this goes above. This goes below. So there's my mirror chevron. I think these are really interesting stitches and have a lot of possibilities. I think the mirror is really striking, especially in this Dala, the variegated, with these beautiful colors. I think that's quite something. I think that this also has some real possibilities. This one, not so sure. I'd have to play around with it and experiment. But as it is, I'm not loving this. Maybe if I did a really thick thread, or maybe I did 2 different weight threads to do, maybe that would be more interesting. I'm not sure. I'm sure it can be lovely. I just haven't figured out the right combination of threads. The chevron, I think, is interesting, and I think the closed chevron is really interesting as well. I love it in this sort of silk ribbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions of the chevron stitch. Love that. Mirror chevron. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting, and if you're not familiar with the chevron stitch, that perhaps this made you think about using it and applying it in your work. Don't forget to hit the like button. Click on the subscribe button and the little bell that pops up for email notifications. I'd love hearing from you, so leave me comments in the comment section. And don't forget to check out the description section where I'll leave all these different threads, links to them, to where you can get them. Until next time, here's to stitching together.